Hello, welcome to my channel, Vice Rhino here. Today we're going to be taking on Kent Hovind and his son Eric. This is one of their videos entitled Answering the Critics, and it's a really long video, so let's just jump right into it. I'm going to be separating it into several parts. Let's get going with part one. Doctor, yeah, right. I have read your doctoral dissertation. It's a joke. I could have written a better one when I was in grade 9. I actually highly recommend reading it. It's a very amusing read. It's not very long at all. And here's a direct quote from page 63-64. Microevolution is small little variations between the species that have been in the genetic structure by. That's a full sentence. Even in context, I have no idea what he meant there. Sounds like he don't English too good.
All right, folks, welcome to Creation Science Hour. This is Kent Hovind in Pensacola, Florida, and thank you for joining us. We've decided for the next few broadcasts, we've been doing this broadcast for some time on the Creation Science Hour, that we're going to videotape our broadcast and make this available because my son Eric and I are going to be discussing some of the anti-Hovind websites.
Oh, what fun.
What fun. You're going to be inheriting the ministry. We're going to be inheriting the ministry responsibilities at least one of these days, and so scary. After I'm dead and gone.
Dead and gone, or just incarcerated? This video must have been recorded before his lengthy prison term.
You're going to have to be the one that takes all the anti-Hovind websites.
Yeah,
I'm sure
you've made a lot of enemies out there, Dad. I don't know about that.
I'm not the least bit nervous about it. Okay, if you type in Kent Hovind on a search engine like Google or something like that, you will come up with about nearly 1,000 hits. Many of these websites are people who don't like us for some reason.
Yeah.
Now, we've been doing this full-time ministry on creation evolution for about 15 years. I have. And we try to always, at the beginning of the broadcast, state our position and what we're trying to accomplish. I taught high school science 15 years.
By which you mean you taught at 3 private Christian schools which didn't require you to have any teaching credentials, one of which you founded. So if your plethora of videos are an accurate representation of your scientific knowledge, then you taught high school pseudoscience at best.
Eric went to college in Jackson Hole, Wyoming for a 1-year concentrated study just on creation, and then went to Tennessee Temple, and has now been traveling and speaking, how long?
4.5 years.
4.5 years.
Jackson Hole Bible College is where he went, which from their website basically seems to just be an apologetic summer camp type thing. So no science background there either. Now don't confuse these with ad hominem attacks. The Hovind's lack of scientific qualifications is completely relevant to this discussion, as they are about to assert that basically the entire scientific community is stupid, while they have real science backing them up.
Our position is the Bible is literally true, scientifically accurate. The world was created in 6 literal days, about 6,000 years ago. The evolution theory, currently being taught at taxpayer expense in our schools, is one of the dumbest and most dangerous ideas in the history of the world.
Being taught at taxpayer expense, so it's not like you're paying for it. And yes, that one was an ad hominem attack.
Anybody that believes they came from a rock needs some real serious help.
Yeah, because believing that God breathed on some dirt and it animated and became human is much more reasonable. Side note, my understanding is that you hold the position that there was no death before the fall. Now, dirt is made up of crushed rocks and decaying organic matter, and since there would have been no dead things to decay, then the dirt that Adam was made out of would have just been crushed rocks, meaning that you believe we came from rocks. And I've never heard anyone who accepts evolution claim that we came from rocks.
I think there's basically 3 types of people. Those that believe in creation, those that are not sure, and those that believe in evolution.
So evolutionary creationists don't exist? I think Dr. Ian Hutchinson might have a differing opinion on the matter.
It's very difficult to talk to those that believe in evolution if you believe in creation because they really don't want an answer.
They like their theory.
They really do.
Yeah,
and so the best thing you can do is talk to those that are unsure, those that are genuinely seeking the truth. And when you genuinely seek the truth, there's no doubt about it, you're going to come to the creation side because that's what we did.
You didn't genuinely seek the truth very hard, though, did you? Any post-secondary science education? No? Okay, I guess your feelings about what ought to be true will have to do.
But then, see, you don't just come to the creation side because then that involves a creator, which might involve some rules. Yeah, like the thou shalt not. That's exactly what they're trying to avoid.
Don't you strawman me. I spent years as basically a non-believing Christian because I didn't want to give up my faith. I wanted to believe. But my intellectual honesty wouldn't let me continue in that direction once I realized the truth that the Bible was fatally flawed. So don't tell me that I'm believing in evolution because I don't want to answer to God. I feel that I'm actually a better person for having given up religion.
In his introduction, he says, The purpose of this site is to analyze the logic and science used in the presentations of a creation science evangelist named Kent Hovind. At the right. Got my picture there. Good picture, by the way.
He's right. That's what he says right there. He says he's right. So.
I'm still using that high school graduation picture. Worked good for 30 years. Why change, you know? This analysis will mainly focus on objective issues, science issues related to Kent Hovind seminars. Carl, you said in your correspondence to Jonathan you would correct any mistakes in this website. I would suggest maybe before the word Kent Hovind you add the word to, T-O. Have a typo there.
After reading your dissertation, I have concluded that you are the last person who should be pointing out typos.
Proper English would call for the word to. Okay. Science issues related to Kent Hovind seminars. There will not be analysis of Hovind's theological position, communist conspiracies, New World Order, or Mark of the Beast claims. See conspiracy quotes. He's got a link there. The basis of young Earth creation science is a literal interpretation of the book of Genesis from the Christian Bible. The known universe, planets, stars, animals, and ultimately humans, it is suggested, were supernaturally created in 6 literal days around 4000 BCE.
Hold it. Let me stop you right there. Right there he says BCE.
Right.
What is he talking about there?
Well, Eric, if you kept current with any science-related subjects, especially those dealing with ancient times such as evolution, you would have come across this already and would know what it means. Now, personally, I don't give a rat's ass whether you call it BC or BCE. All it is an arbitrary start to a calendar. It means nothing significant either way.
Anyway, Mr. Mary Church writes, approximately 2300 BCE, the world was supposedly destroyed by a global flood except for a selection of animals and 8 humans aboard the largest wooden boat ever constructed. And now, Carl, I would change that. Ever constructed up to that time. Okay, there have been quite a few wooden boats by the Chinese, apparently, constructed much larger than Noah's Ark after that time.
Interesting. So what you're claiming here is that the Chinese, without God's help, were capable of building a better boat than Noah, who had God's help? Keep in mind there's no way to fit all of the animals onto Noah's Ark, so his boat needed to be bigger than it was. And God couldn't make that technological breakthrough, but the Chinese could? Also, I'd like a source for that, as the only thing I could find about large Chinese wooden ships is a poorly documented treasure ship, which, depending on who you ask, could be anywhere from 61 meters to 122 meters in length. And even assuming the longest at 122 meters, this is still smaller than Noah's 158-meter ark. But you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt on this one and agree with you that the Chinese beat God.
So I would add the phrase up to the time, okay? Obviously, young Earth creationism is in conflict with mainstream science in general. Let me stop right there and say, I don't think that's quite correct. There may be some scientists who are in conflict with young Earth creationism, but all of the ones that are right believe in young Earth creationism.
That's correct.
So it's only the ones that are wrong that don't believe in that.
There's a list of creationist scientists over at creation.com. The list contains about 250 names of scientists who supposedly accept young Earth creationist. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say that the list doesn't include people who take Genesis as allegory, which I'm sure it does with how vaguely they worded things. So giving them the benefit of the doubt, they have 250 scientists out of approximately 7 million scientists in the world, conservatively speaking. That's 0.0035% of the total. So you're saying that 99.9965% of all scientists are wrong.
And there are thousands, literally thousands of scientists who are young Earth creationists, or certainly creationists. Every branch of science was started by creationists, not by evolutionists. Evolution is a useless theory.
It really hasn't done anything to even help out science. It's done more to hinder it than it's done to ever help it.
Yeah.
You know,
even if it's true, it's useless.
I'll put a link in the description box to a list of scientific advances brought about by the theory of evolution. Probably the biggest advancement, though, is our understanding of diseases and how to fight them.
Yeah, they're trying so hard to prove this one theory. Scientific method would simply say, you know, you got a problem. How did we get here? You form a hypothesis, then you gather evidence. Well, they haven't found any evidence. There's been no evidence whatsoever.
There's tons of evidence. You just haven't looked at it without performing supreme feats of mental gymnastics in an attempt to twist the evidence to fit your belief system.
Offering $250,000 for a long time for proof for evolution. Do you get this when you go speak at seminars? Ask, what about this offer?
Yeah, what about the offer? I think he discussed that later on his site.
Yeah. We'll get to there, Carl. Hang on. He says, I have offered Kent Hovind the opportunity of an unedited, unlimited length right to reply to be hosted on this site. So far, he has ignored the offer. Well, Carl, let me explain why, okay? I have other things to do, okay? I don't think you want an answer anyway, number one. Number two, nobody cares what you think, all right?
Well, obviously you do have the time and do care about what he thinks, or this video wouldn't exist.
Plus, you can't type all that fast.
Plus, I type about 12 words a minute with 19 mistakes, right?
Columbus style. Find it and land on it.
I can talk fast, I can think on my feet fast, or on my seat for that matter, but I don't type very fast. So I'm not about to get into an email debate. I've said that clearly on my website. I'm not interested in an email debate. I will take you on face-to-face if I come to Australia, where you are. If you want to come to the States, I've got a standing offer to debate any number of evolutionists simultaneously.
You're against email debates because you love to use the Gish Gallop technique, where you spout out so many logical fallacies, half-truths, and outright lies so rapidly that your opponent doesn't have a chance to address them all, which makes it appear as though you won the debate. This is hard to do via email, as the person you're corresponding with can take as long as he pleases to research and address every single one of your points. Since none of your points stand up to scrutiny, you prefer the rapid-fire method of a live debate.
With half my brain tied behind my back. Still, you get the one when it was 2 against 1 in Missouri?
I wasn't there, but I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh, that was hilarious. They said, well, we'll debate Ken Hovind if it can be 2 of us. I said, it could be 10 of you. Honestly, if you want to schedule a debate someplace, that'd be wonderful. I have 2 conditions I ask for. If there's 10 of them and 1 of me, that's perfectly fine. But I want half the time.
Right. Equal time.
Equal time.
That's obvious.
I don't care which of their 10 answers the question. Secondly, I want 1 topic at a time. I don't want them bringing up 30 topics. I have time to answer 4, and so it looks like
he doesn't know the rest.
Doesn't know the rest. Yeah, when I do, I just don't have time to answer them all.
So you're against them using your favorite debate method against you? I've watched you debate, man. You go from cosmology to geology to biology to anthropology in the course of 5 minutes, but you demand that they only bring up 1 subject at a time? Can you be more intellectually dishonest?
He's had 40,000 hits on his site, and just to the comments page, or just to his site in general? That is, okay. We've had X number of million hits to our site, okay, so...
and many of those sites, aren't they simply just copying the information and kind of making their own site with it? They're not. They're part of a big chain.
It's a big chain of anti-Hovind sites. You can go to next, and it goes to the next one automatically at the bottom of his site here. We'll get to that.
It's pretty much the exact same stuff.
So,
yeah, I remember web rings. How very GeoCities. But why would you complain about people basically copying him when that's all creationists do for their sites? Almost all the information and quotes on creationist sites can be traced back to very few large organizations such as Answers in Genesis or your baby, Creation Science Evangelism.
I've ignored your offer because I don't have time, and I don't care, and I don't think most people care what you think on the topic. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but, that's just the way it is, okay? I have other things to do, okay? Okay. It says, I've also offered to correct any errors or misunderstandings. Neither Hovind nor his staff has attempted to identify any.
He says neither Hovind nor his staff have not attempted to identify any, which would mean we have attempted to identify any.
That's true, have not. I tried to read the proper English in there instead of what it says.
Once again, after reading your dissertation, I doubt you're familiar with proper English and so have no place correcting anyone else.
Okay, so the reason we haven't attempted to identify any, I haven't even read it, okay? I have lots to do. I get thousands of phone calls and emails, and I'd rather go talk to somebody who wants to hear the truth. And I'm suspecting from what little bit I've read, you don't really want to hear it, but I'm going to give it to you anyway, because I think you need it, whether you want it or not. Okay.
Here's the answers.
Here's the answer. Oh.
I don't have time to read your website, and I don't think you want me to answer you anyways. So here, let me sit down and read your website so I can answer you. You're a logical genius, aren't you?
Oh, okay. He says, more observant readers may have noticed I have not given my name. Oops. I already told him it's Carl Mary Church. Even that may be a screen name. I've noticed a lot of these atheists are scared to give their name. They're anonymous, They can remain anonymous behind their website, and, nobody knows who they are. Like they're afraid I'm going to go do something to them,
There are some...
Yeah, because it's not like religious fundamentalists have a history of harassing people who disagree with them or anything. It's also quite possible that an internet atheist is still in the closet in their personal life. There are many atheists out there who feel they cannot tell their family of their atheism because it will detrimentally affect their relationships. Please note here, it's the Christians who supposedly have superior family values who are forcing their loved ones to keep an important part of their life secret because the atheistic, valueless individuals care more about the relationship than the religious, morally superior individuals.
The whole reason we exist is simply to glorify the kingdom of God, is to glorify Christ, and to see more people come to the realization and to come to the truth of the fact that God is the creator. Jesus Christ was his son, is his son, and he really did truly come on this earth and die.
So Jesus had such a huge orgasm that it covered the whole earth and killed him? That sounds like a fantastic way to die.